It's a cold night, February 4th, 2023. At San Pedro de Chonchocoro, a maximum security prison high above La Paz, Bolivia, one man attempts something no one has tried before. He does not bribe guards. He does not dig his way out. He does not climb the walls. He wears sheepskin. Temperatures fall. Wind whispers over the grass. In the stillness, an inmate makes a choice. After dark, he leaves his cell. Not with force, not with tools, but with the sheepskin draped over his shoulders, not for warmth, but for disguise. He lowers himself to the ground. He begins to crawl. His plan is simple: move like an animal across the field beyond the prison walls, and hope the night conceals him. He edges through the grass, past guards and watchtowers, not as a prisoner, but as a sheep, because no one bothers a sheep grazing near a perimeter fence. Under dim light and freezing air, a lone shape advances on all fours, slow, careful, quiet. But one question remains: will the guards notice before it's too late? And another: where did a man serving 15 years for homicide find a sheep's skin in a maximum security prison? This is the story of El Araña, the man who tried to escape prison as a sheep. El Araña, whose real name is José Luis Callisaya Díaz, was possibly born in Bolivia. Nothing much is known about his background except for the story of his prison escape. He attempts prison escape while serving 15 years sentence for homicide at San Pedro de Chonchocoro maximum security prison in La Paz, Bolivia. There are no televised trials, no documentaries about the case, no widely known interviews, just a sentence and time. Somewhere in Bolivia, years earlier, this man committed murder. He was arrested and court trials began. A court heard the evidence. The evidence of his crime was overwhelming. He pleaded guilty to committing murder. A judge made a decision. He raised the gavel and sentenced José Luis Callisaya Díaz, nicknamed El Araña, to 15 years behind bars. Crime, committing murder, and he was taken behind these walls. We do not know the full story of that day. We don't know the argument, the moment, the mistake, or the intent. What we know is this: a man entered prison with 15 years ahead of him. Years measured in routines, in counts, in locked doors. Time inside a maximum security prison moves differently. Days stretch, nights echo, and thoughts grow louder in the quiet. Some inmates fight, some adapt, some wait, and some begin to think about leaving. For El Araña, that thought would become a plan, not a violent one, not a complicated one, but one that would carry him slowly into the cold night dressed as something he was not. High above La Paz, where the air is thin and the wind rarely stops, stands San Pedro de Chonchocoro prison, Bolivia's most secure penitentiary. It was built for those considered too dangerous to place anywhere else. It was built for inmates like El Araña, who cannot endure the silence and solitariness of prisons. Concrete walls cut through the open plain. Watchtowers stand at intervals, still and patient. From a distance, it looks less like a building, and more like a boundary drawn against the world. There are no crowded city streets nearby, no easy roads, only open land and cold ground stretching outward in every direction. Escape here is not just about getting over a wall, it is about surviving everything beyond it. Inside, life follows a rigid rhythm. Metal doors open, metal doors close, footsteps echo, keys turn, days are counted. Movements are recorded, silence is common, meals arrive through slots in doors. Conversations are short, often watched. For El Araña, keeping up with this daily boring routine wasn't for him. He started thinking and planning for an escape. But considering the security of the prison, escape wasn't possible. So he decided to stay and serve his sentence. However, time passes, but not in the way it does outside. Here, time does not flow. It sits. The yard offers space, but not freedom. Sky, but not distance. Men walk in slow circles beneath open air, always within walls, always under watch. For El Araña, the mountains on the horizon always feel close enough to touch, and impossibly far away. But security here is layered. Perimeter fences, armed patrols, elevated watch posts scanning the land beyond the prison. At night, lights sweep across the ground like quiet questions. Nothing is meant to move without being seen. Beyond the final fence lies open field, rough grass bending in the wind. In daylight, it looks empty. At night, it becomes shadow. This narrow stretch of land between prison wall and wilderness is where captivity meets possibility. For most men inside Chonchocoro, the walls are the end of the story. But for El Araña, that field in the dark is an opportunity to freedom, an opportunity to live free again, far from prison walls. Some escape plans are loud. They involve force, speed, desperation. This one began with something softer: wool. At some point before that February night, El Araña found a sheepskin, not a tool, not a weapon, a disguise. How it came into his possession is unclear. What mattered was what it could become. In the high plains around La Paz, sheep are common. Small shapes in open fields, quiet, unnoticed. To guards watching from towers, movement in the grass is not always unusual, especially on a cold night. And that idea of sheep around prison walls became his escape plan. On February 4, 2023, as darkness settled over Chonchocoro, El Araña made his decision. There would be no running, no confrontation, only patience. He put the sheepskin over his body, not for warmth, but to change his outline, to become lower, to disguise, rounder, less human. Sometime after nightfall, he left his cell. He simply walked out of his prison cell while guards were distracted. No alarms, no noise, just another shadow in a place already full of them. Once outside, he lowered himself to the earth. Hands, knees, slow movement forward. His plan was simple: cross the grass beyond the prison walls and let distance do the rest. From a distance, under poor light, the human body changes. It becomes shape, movement, suggestion. He was no longer a man in a prison yard. He was something else, something ordinary. Every meter gained was a small victory. Every pause, a calculation. Do not stand, do not rush, do not look like a man trying to escape. Inside the prison, routine continued. Guards walked their rounds, lights hummed, doors remained shut. Until a guard notices something unusual: an opened prison cell, a bed, a blanket, but no prisoner. Out in the field, the sheep kept moving. Slow, careful, quiet, unaware that behind him his absence had just been noticed. The guards are now searching for him. The plan depended on darkness, but darkness never belongs to only one side. Inside Chonchocoro, the night follows procedure. Counts are made, doors are checked, names are matched to faces. Routine is the system's heartbeat. A guard pauses at one cell. A bed lies still, blanket shaped like a body. But something feels wrong. The bed is empty. José Luis Callisaya Díaz, also known as El Araña, is gone. In places like this, absence moves faster than sound. A call goes out. Another guard checks the corridor. Footsteps change pace. Routine becomes alert. Lights begin scanning the perimeter. Beyond the final fence, the grass shifts in the wind. And there, something else moves with it. At first glance, it looks ordinary. A small animal shape in the field. Low to the ground, unhurried. But sheep do not move like this. Not in straight lines, not toward open distance. The beam catches wool, then pauses, then adjusts. Stillness can hide you, but it can also reveal you. Guards move out from the wall, not running, not shouting, certain. Up close, the illusion disappears. Beneath the fleece is not an animal, it is a man. Breathing hard, hands in the dirt, freedom still meters away. The field falls quiet again, the wind continues, the lights remain, but the attempt is over. José Luis Callisaya Díaz is led back through the gates of Chonchocoro. The same walls, the same doors, only now with a story that will travel far beyond them. A plan built on silence, ended by a moment of noticing. Morning returns to the high plains above La Paz. The wind is the same, the walls are the same. Inside Chonchocoro, routine resumes, as if the night before never happened. The grass where a sheep once crawled bends quietly in daylight. No footprints remain, only memory. El Araña is back in his cell. The disguise is gone. The plan is over. What follows is not escape, but consequence. Tighter watch, fewer chances, longer shadows in the corridor. The story travels beyond the prison, across news sites, across continents. A man tried to escape dressed as a sheep. Some laugh, some shake their heads. But beneath the strangeness is something quieter. Desperation does not always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks like crawling through freezing grass, hoping no one looks too closely. Chonchocoro was built to prevent escape. And it did. But for a few silent minutes on a February night, one man moved beyond the role he had been given: prisoner, number, sentence. He became a shape in the dark, chasing a possibility. Not every escape story is about getting away. Some are about the moment someone decides to try. And for one cold night, a prison yard held a sheep that wasn't a sheep at all.